Get out the insurance cards, get out the co-pays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by DrRoto.com.
So let's get to it.
Bring the pain!
What's up, everybody? It's Heat Override, and I'm ready to bring the pain for you and Dr. Roto this week. Oh, yeah. If you haven't been over to the site, get over to DrRoto.com. Use code WORDWIN, and you will get a percentage off of your subscription so that we can help you become our rich friend. How's everybody doing today? This is a live podcast. I'm going to do a review of UFC 328, my thoughts, my reactions, just a quick glance over. Of course, a lot of people have already did reviews. I'm just doing that. I also, because this is NFL season, and you know we are an NFL seasonal football site, so you know that we're going to bring the pain for your fantasy football leagues and dynasty leagues. So Dr. Roto, of course, has his own dynasty league. There's a 16-team league. I'm in it, one first year, and since then my team has gotten older. I'm in a rebuild. We'll talk about that at the end, and then, of course, we'll talk about what Dan and I will be talking about on the Fight Club of Pain this week. Live on Thursday, 7 p.m. on the Dr. Roto Network. But of course, this is a live show, so you can like, follow, share, ask questions. Did you have a hot take? Did something not work out for you? Maybe you didn't find the Fight Club in time, and now it's your time to find the Fight Club, and you're watching this podcast. You definitely want to get in there. So, hit it up. Also, like and follow Dr. Roto on YouTube. This show, he has been doing so much work himself. I mean, just between that, and then of course you got Lou Landers and John putting it down for the fantasy baseball side, and they have so much going on right now just on the YouTube. That's all free information, and then you take that free information, win money, and then get to the site, and then of course use that code word WIN, and then we get it on it. So I hope everybody had a good time, a good weekend so far. Of course, this is Mother's Day, so a lot of people might be just getting into something. Maybe you're getting back from dinner. We did a lot of our stuff early, but we had a killer day yesterday. We went down to this restaurant in Grove City, Pennsylvania called Timber Creek, and it was amazing. They had their own brews there, so you got to try a lot of craft brews. You could look through this glass window below, and you could see all of the brew kettles and everything like that, so it was really cool. It's I would say a little higher end on the restaurant side, but the food was exquisite. Everything, of course, in that says it's locally brewed, locally raised, so everything is within the vicinity of that restaurant, so you're getting as close to the thing. So if you're in Grove City, Pennsylvania, check it out. Go to the outlet place and the outlet mall and have some fun, man. That's what we get to do. So because it's Mother's Day weekend. Of course, my daughter, she had her birthday party yesterday. Mine was Tuesday, so it's just been, the wife's was 2 weeks ago. It's just been crazy, a lot of fun to be had. And so now it's time to get into the thing, and that is going to be the NFL talk at the end of this show. But for now, of course, let's get to it. Let's get to UFC 328. Man, I thought it was a great card overall. I mean, even we'll get to, of course, the main event between Chimaev and Strickland, but let's start off with Clayton Carper versus Jose Ocha. I mean, if you didn't see this fight wasn't going to go over, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. And so I had my over. Of course, I did try to get something on the underplay, but because we were doing things all day and because I was on the road all practically hanging out with the family, hanging out with Dan, and just having fun, doing some shopping and stuff like that, I didn't have a lot of bets in on UFC 328, and that's very unfortunate because we were hot. Everything we practically touched on the Fight Club of Pain hit. The Parlay of Pain did well. We'll talk all about that too when we get to DFS rankings and all that stuff at the end of the show. So, but for right now, that right there, that fight was perfect. It started off, got some good points. I avoided it on the DFS slate. But another fight I did not avoid was, of course, Khamzat Chimaev, and he got it done. I mean, got the late submission. Thank you. Had it go no distance. So this is, like I said, one of those things where I was happy I was away because I might have been playing things like I would have won more money, but it was nice to just step away and get that because the end result became a lot of money. So it's just the things, and all of these bets were in the subs only Discord at Dr. Roto. And I know that a lot of people give out a lot of free information on social media, all forums, and I commend them for that. But for us, we are a fantasy football site. We are a fantasy baseball site. We do multiple sports, have multiple tools for multiple sports, and have multiple analysts and experts to help you find the right cure for all of your fantasy needs. Oh, yeah. I mean, you couldn't see that was coming. But at the same time, for me, it was a great win. We got that one. Of course, at this point, I did really well. I picked Ocha and Sarah Cave. I did pick Sabatini. Of course, this is another fight that went the distance, and I'm fine with that right there as well, too. Sabatini just dominated Gomez. And no, you can't take anything away from Gomez. Sometimes people are just a little better. And for that was kind of what Sabatini brought to that fight, unfortunately, for Gomez. Now, let's get to Roman Kopylov versus Marco Tulio. All right, this is where I'm going to run my mouth. I know as a fact on the DFS slate, none of y'all recommended him. I also know that a lot of the smart people in this industry, people who use fight theory to actually analyze these fights and then put them into bets, knew Kopylov was going to run through Tulio. But the fact that people, I mean, no mark on Tulio. I used to like how I do that. No, the mark go Tulio. No matter what, Tulio did do good. But again, it was where Dan and I talked about briefly on the Fight Club of Pain that Kopylov needed this win. Kopylov can do more with this win. And he did. He did. And for that was awesome because he was 7,300 on DraftKings. And he was one of my huge recommendations, along with a few other recommendations that ended up working out on the DFS slate this week. That led to some really big numbers for DFS this week. I mean, I was close. But let's get back to it. So that was a big win. That was right there. Boom. And then we get to Jared Gordon. I'm looking good. Jared Gordon's looking good. Then he gets kicked in the junk, runs his sales back out there, does a bull rush, and gets wrapped up by Jim Miller. And that broke my first. Well, I mean, that put a hamper on the parlay of pain. I had him winning by points, 100. It was a plus 100, and it would have did really well. But that didn't happen for us. Jim Miller gets the win. Good job, old man. You did it well. But let's talk about this next fight. Now, Grant Dawson is literally going to get hurt by somebody eventually again. Rebecca, every time it looked like Rebecca would hit him, he would floor him. He was flooring him on kicks. Rebecca was another one of the DFS ways that I had. Also, the simulators at DFS Hero, code word doc, get you a percentage of that prescription as well, too. Tell them the doctor sent you. Nice old recommendation. Oh, yeah. And so, Rebecca I think he scored over 41, 42 points on DraftKings. And that was for a guy, again, that was only 7,600, I think. So I'm just going off the top of my head because, of course, right now we're already past it. I'm already on to next week's slate. I'm actually on tennis. Doing pretty good at tennis today. I am ripping it up. I was 3 out of 5 wins with 2 more of the people going for the parlay that was in. I don't know if I put that one in the subs only Discord. So forgive me for that one if I did not. But I'm telling you people, man. And then Edwin and Aaron literally dropped 25 bets today. 25 bets today. If you get the subs only Discord package at Dr. Roto, you will not get to get amazing articles like the 5-tastic picks, which we will talk about on this episode. But you get all the lineups, all the stuff. You get Trevor. Trevor came in last night, was able to bet where he's at. So he was able to win some money off of the UFC for the first time ever. He really loved it. I could tell he was watching the fights, and he was rooting for Van because he took Van. Of course, I recommended Chimaev. We'll talk about that in the review section. But I mean, this was just the thing. Now Dawson getting that late submission, it still didn't hurt Rebecca, but it gave me the under, allowed me to hit what I said, and then bam, performance of the night, Amasov. It's so funny that a lot of people out there thought that Alvarez was gonna smoke him, but I stood by. I recommended him right there on my DFS rankings, and it came through. There's a reason for that, people. People can talk DFS, but as Dr. Roto will let you know, Heat Override is straight dialed in when it comes to DFS. My formula is almost untouchable. It's bulletproof. Why? Because tennis exists at Dr. Roto, and it only exists because of the formula that I apply to it. So it's like having rats do brain surgery. Every once in a while they get it right, but I got the formula to make all of your fantasy woes go away. Yeah, I can rub my mouth a little bit. Wait till we get to the betting section. Dan and I have a good reason to run our mouths this week. So we'll like that. We'll have some fun with that. But man, the fact that I got that, and we'll get into his percentages as well too, because that was, he was around 24% owned on the major slates. So that right there, I was all in. Now, this is the bet that Trevor did not get. So Trevor won 3 bets, and he went to bet Gautier first, second round knockout. He got there. It was too late. But I'm telling you, and I went on to DraftKings, and I highlighted Gautier to win under 1.5 rounds. So that was, I think, a negative 125. And then, of course, we had the second and third round Gautier knockout, which was a plus 390. So we returned a lot of money on this. And, of course, this was part of the parlay of pain. And that was that. I was so surprised to be able to get negative 260s on first, second round knockout, negative 440 on the first and second round win. And then again, like I said, the negative 125 on the under 1.5 rounds by knockout. So for me, that's the science that we talked about and that we applied, and that. So he missed it, but he was like, man, if I would have put that together as a 4-leg parlay, and I'm like, if you would have just been able to do everything that, because he's live in the sports book, so sometimes he doesn't have all the markets that we do on FanDuel or DraftKings and on your phone. So that being said, that's why you get the subs only Discord. You get in there and you see me throwing in some bets sometimes, even when I was busy. It still ended up working out. So that being said, let's move it along. We got King. Okay. So King Green got me on this one. Not only was it was funny because Jeremy Little Heathen Stevens, which was Dan's Soup Can of the Week, smashed. Okay. And he got smashed. And then he got choked out. And I was like, come on. Like, Green should have got that knockout. I don't know how the ref did not stop it. It should have been the knockout. I had knockout and points. Of course, if you listen to the Fight Club of Pain, you will know that I suggested King Green submission plus 800 and submission for the fight at plus 700. So again, I said it live on this show. It may seem crazy, but I've seen crazier shit happen. This is a fight. This is not something you can predict sometimes. And sometimes knockout artists get submissions. And sometimes knockout artists try for submissions, which we'll talk about later in this episode as well, too. So that being said, let's move along. King Green gets the win for us. I'm looking good. My only loss at this point, I will actually tell you all three. I went 10-3 for this card. 10-3 overall. And that included the Gordon. He must have just, after he heard my jeweler comment, he must have just felt deflated. But he was my loss. And then, of course, I picked WCA. I said I was picking him with my heart. And Dan picked Volkov, and Dan got it right. I got it wrong, and that's fine. and me and Dan both picked Chimaev, so we got that wrong. So those are my 3 losses. But at the same time, that's not bad. That's not bad for a card like this. Insane. So we got to what people were talking about. Sean Brady versus Joaquin Buckley. Brady started out as a huge favorite. Then he became an underdog. So I grabbed a lot of positive money, as well as a lot of other people that were smart, grabbed a lot of positive money on that fight. Now, what ended up actually happening was a mauling. Sean Brady not only broke the DFS slate, he mauled Buckley, mauled him. I mean, he had like over 200 significant strikes. It was like round 1, 67, round 2, 87. It was like round 3, 81. And he had them mounted at the time. And I'm like 82, 83, 84, 85, 90, 91, 92. I'm just like, people, I'm watching this go up. It was amazing. And a lot of people are pissed about this because they don't understand why Sean Brady was able to beat Buckley. Well, Buckley looked good and has looked good, but isn't that next level caliber fighter. Unfortunately, no knock on him. But at the same time, Brady is the more complete fighter. When you get a more complete fighter, someone who can strike, someone who can do submissions, somebody who can attempt and hold somebody like Buckley on the ground. I said in the Subzoli Discord and in the Fight Club's secret room, I said, you got a ladder Brady takedowns because he's going to get some. And that ended up working out, just like Chimaev takedowns. You know, that 9 takedowns, that was nice. But at the same time, when you're flipping it back and you're looking back at this fight with Brady, and you see, when I went to this is when we were finally home, and this fight was about to happen, I went to go grab some more bets because, like I said, I couldn't really get any bets in. I was out. I was busy all day. I had all my pre-show bets from the Fight Club and all my other bets I did on Friday night. Now, I got to this fight, and they had everything marked off. It was just Sean Brady wins at this minute. Sean Brady wins at this minute. Sean Brady wins at this minute. I'm like, oh, no. I was like, please don't cancel this fight because Brady was in 100% of my DFS lineups. I got real scared, people. I got real scared because I've been doing in the past with some, with the Bulgarian fight and other people like that taking zeros. Like, you can't take a zero on a DFS like, especially this one when the top score was over 800 points. And I scored 717. And it's not 694. So, like, this DFS slate was jacked. But I had 6 wins on that lineup, too. It didn't matter. Just kind of fell into the way. And it shows sometimes where computers and massive multi-entry can really help out. You get 20 different lineups in a fight card like this with a lot of bangers and finishes. You can have a lot of pathways to success, no matter if you get 6 wins or 5 wins, 1 loss, and you still win. So that's kind of the thing that kind of goes down with the Fight Club and what we try to provide for you on that. But we talked about this fight. We talked about this. This was the second fight that we covered. And Dan wanted that round 3 submission. We did round 3 and decision for Brady. And that's what it is. Now, of course, Waldo Cortez Acosta and Volkov went out there and put on a clinic. I can't say that I disagree with the judge's decision. I felt that if maybe WCA would have stopped with a little bit of the taunting and actually just started fighting a little more, that might have leaned the judges a little more towards him. Maybe it turned off one of the judges, and that is why he lost. Honestly, I feel WCA hit the more powerful the punches. He had bloodied up Volkov. He had clearly dominated Volkov, which is backing up, kicking his leg, kicking him side, kicking his leg. And then eventually WCA, he wanted to see what Volkov was going to do. So he didn't really strike a lot in that first round. So he did give him that first round. So for me, I'm fine with that. But WCA was another DFS recommendation that came out perfectly for our lineups. And that fight going over was great. Although on the Parlay Corral, we should have just did points instead of just Volkov. Well, I don't know. I think we did get that one on that one. Yeah, we did. We got that one. That's right. We did over. Then we got exactly what everybody was going to talk about right here, right now. Joshua Van versus Tatsuo Taira. We're talking about the champ, Mr. Van, probably on a one-way collision course to Pantoja now. But I'm going to lay it down like this. Again, the champion, the guy that I said I voted against one time, and that was picking Pantoja, and he won. I'm not picking against him. I felt that he could knock out Taira. Of course, that came late, but I felt that he could knock out Taira. I felt that he had the power. But what happened was really crazy because Taira did dominate that first round. And then it was like something like, and then he almost subbed. He almost subbed Van quite a few times. But Van weathered that storm. He weathered it. He had, everybody talks about Van's takedown defense. Van's takedown submission defense was amazing because he fought off multiple submissions by everybody. And that was crazy. Who said we got no U.S. champs? Yeah. I don't know who said that. But let's get that. So Joshua Van weathered that storm, and you could see that Taira was starting to become scared when he was entering. So Van was staying low, and he was ducking, and he was throwing his reverse punch on the entry by Taira. Taira did recognize that, but then it just became like where he should have had that finish in the second round. It just became where the boxing became levels, leagues, championship leagues from Taira to Van. And Van did exactly what we said he was going to do. And that's why I said knockout on points. He was a plus 158. Right up until the fight, I think he came down to a plus 136. So I really love that. I want to thank you for the comment as well, too, Jamal, coming in there. He's got no U.S. chance. Yeah, we do have a U.S. champ now, don't we? Don't we have a U.S. champ now? We're going to get to that next. Let's talk about that. But that was another win that we were able to get. Again, Josh Van, 7,400 on the DFS slates. So when we get to this, we'll get to that. But now we have Khamzat Chimaev versus Sean Strickland. What came and looked like another dominant performance by Chimaev became another masterpiece by Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland went in there and got absolutely ragdolled in the first round. And I don't know if there's an injury. I didn't do a lot of research into it, but I want to say this. When you saw Chimaev laying back on the ground after he went to take down Sean, he kind of slipped off and he was laying on his back. It felt like something happened to him. Because after that, he got up. He barely tried to take him down until it was the end of the round. The last minute of the round is when he was going to shoot his takedown so that he could end up on top. And it failed for him in the fifth round. And he wanted to box with Sean Strickland, like Fluffy Hernandez wanted to box with Sean Strickland. And what happened to both of them? They lost. And now I hope this does not lead to another DDP Strickland matchup, because Dan and I have not wanted that matchup at all for a very long time. But now that Strickland's a champion and he's a fighting thing. Yeah, I heard that too. I heard about the shoulder injury. What they say, Pereira did it to him. So yes, and of course, Khamzat had the bad weight cut. You know, here's another thing you bring up too when you talk about that, Jamal. And thanks again for that comment as well too. Fighters do enter fights kind of sore sometimes. As a point fighter myself, we spar anywhere from 2 to 3 times a week, and that just is extra wear and tear on your body. Now, sometimes we go into tournaments with bruises from Wednesday, and so this does happen. But you bring up the weight cut. Now, even though Ramadan has been done for some time now, he still didn't have a full experience with that. Like, he comes out, now he has to get his weight back. Now he's back to eating. Now he's back to training, and then he's right back into this fight. Dan and I had talked about this on the Fight Club a few times, that we felt that it was going to be more towards summer, end of summer, that he would fight August to October. Because I figured that would allow him to get a 3-month training camp and get it in there. So was this rushed? I don't know. But for me, I feel that fighters should be at top. When I, of course, go into fights, I go into my fight weight a month prior to. Now, I keep close at my fight weight. I'm usually around anywhere from 5 to 10 pounds within my fight weight. I am a lightweight. I fight at 154. So I walk around at 165, 160. And it all depends. Summertime, because it might be hot out, might be running around 157. It's easy for me to make that weight cut. But some of these people don't have that luxury sometimes. And for that, maybe that was played a factor into that. So do you have it going 2-on-2 into the 5th? Yes, Connor, I had it 2-2 5th. I had Chimaev winning that first round, and then the 4th round, because he ended up on top of Sean. And then I had Sean, of course, because the second round, I consider that practically a knockdown that Sean did. He clocked him. And that led to that really weird exchange. So for me, that was that. So I gave Sean 2 and 3. And I feel like what was going to happen was that Khamzat was going to shoot in that last minute like he did the 4th round, end up on top, punishing Strickland. Then the judges would have been like, Khamzat retains the championship, right? But what happened is Sean evaded the takedown and then pieced him up. So that right there for me tells me that I give that fight to Sean. So that was crazy. So we got another one in here. Jamal Fireback. Dana said that comes out right after the loss, asked him to let it move up to 205. And that is exactly where he needs to be. That means he's going to be up there with my guy, Juicebox Walker, man. He's going to be up there with all, oh man, that's going to be a hell of a division now. But yeah, so it was a great card overall. I enjoyed it a lot. I hope a lot of you enjoyed that as well too. So let's get over to some of the betting and DFS breakdowns. Of course, keep fire in the comments and everything like that. We'll keep talking about that. So 10-3 overall. I went 3-2 on the Fight Club. And of course, my losses was Khamzat. And sticking with my heart, WCA. I felt he could have did it, but it was close. Dan went 4-1. Moneyline parlay. Now, these parlays are all every single week in the Subs Only Discord at Dr. Roto. Behind the paywall. Code word win will get you in. Moneyline went 4-1. The parlay of pain went 3-2. Of course, I had Gordon plus 100 points. I had the WCA fight going under. I wanted extra things to go with that. And then now this is where it gets crazy. Let's get to that. Connor threw in a question here. What about Van's that is so clean? His boxing, I'd say second best. Yes. And if you didn't catch me earlier in the show when I was talking about the Van fight, it was like that first round gave everybody that thought that Van was going to lose exactly what they thought Altaira. And then the boxing started, and then Van learned what he was doing. And Connor, if you didn't miss it. So what I said was when Taira was shooting in, Van was coming in back like this, and he was dropping his reverse punch to stop him from coming in. And then it just became to where Taira had been hit so much that he wasn't seeing that reverse punch. And he was just getting cracked. It was insane. I mean, he still got a lot of takedowns, but he was getting cracked. And then we all of us knew at some point there was going to be a finish, because I don't understand how he didn't get finished earlier in that fight, even in the second round when Van got that mount. Some of these fights I thought went a little longer than they needed to, but whatever, I'll go with it. But yeah, I loved it. And the fact that there was so much positive money on Van, knockout points, positive money, it was beautiful. Decision, no bet. Distance, no. I mean, we highlighted that all in the Fight Club. It just was such a fun fight to have so much. And when we went into the main event, of course, a lot of my parlays were all done, because so the Five-tastic Picks, which was behind the paywall, the money line went 5-0 on that. But for one time, I did the money line. I threw in Gautier first or second round knockout anyway, because it was like a money line. And so I ended up getting that 5-0 on that. And the Five-tastic Picks, I put a long shot parlay in there every single week in the Subs Only Discord channel, and it went 5-0. So let's talk about that. 4-1 money line, 3-2 parlay at Payne, 5-0 on the money line for the Five-tastic Picks behind the paywall, and of course the long 5-0. The parlay corral went 2-3. We had some crazy shots. It was a plus 4,000. We took some shots to try to make some money for all of you. That's what we do. But we stick to our methods. We stick to our progress. And that's why we round robin. Round robin, people. I didn't get a lot of bets in, but I can tell you, the one parlay I threw in, I only threw like $7 or $8 and it returned like 60. So again, when a round robin hits 5-0, you get the 5-leg parlay, you get it. And we were hot this week, DFS wise. FanDuel 3-0, including a 717 and a 694. And DK 4-1, had some massive lineups on there. Of course, we recommended Rebecca at 23% over 40 points in a loss, even get knocked out or choked out. WCA 31, Gautier 29. I thought that was funny, people. Y'all funny. Y'all gave us Gautier for 29% owned on the. Okay. Don't listen to the Fight Club of Pain, I guess, because if you do, you'll have these plays. Kopylov 23%. Thank you. Thank you. Me. Van 48%. I mean, he was a DFS hero, man. He was it. But, Brady 27%. The slate breaker himself. Cave 23%. People were like so on that he was going to lose, and he didn't. And he got that finish. And then, of course, in one of my contests, I got Brady. It was a big contest. I think about 1,000 people. Brady was 16% owned. Just let that sink in, people. Just let that sink in right there. Could have had that. Now, the four I did, I said Gautier, Cave, Amasov, and WCA. And of course, I said Rebecca. And of course, my DFS lineup was Gautier, Kaev, WCA, Van, Rebecca, and Kopylov. Now, I didn't have Brady on that one, but that was the one that was mentioned, that was recommended by me. Of course, the simulated lineup had Gautier, Miller, Van, Chimaev, Rebecca, and Brady. So, again, the two lineups from the Fight Club of Pain scored over 690 points in this. And that is what we do try to do. I got waxed 2 weeks ago. I wasn't happy, but that didn't happen this time, did it now? What's next for Strickland? Connor says, hopefully not DDP. Hopefully not DDP. I do not want to see that at all. Do you want to see DDP eke out another decision against him? And I actually want him to win, Strickland to win, because I don't dig any of that. But let's get down to where we got some of these people. So we got right here. I'm just looking right here. So now that we got Strickland in there, Imavov has been getting overlooked. I felt that Imavov should get a shot. I am a huge Fighting Nerds guy. I would love if Kyle Barallo got that shot, but Joe Pyfer has been hot. So for me, I can see Imavov getting overlooked, and then I can see practically either Kyle Barallo or Pfeiffer getting it. But for me, I don't want DDP. Please do not give us DDP, right? And who I think deserves it, Imavov. Imavov deserves it because he dominated Barallo. So for me, it's Imavov. And then I think Barallo fights Pfeiffer. That should happen. So give me Imavov versus Sean Strickland. I mean, that'll be fun. That'll be a fun fight, right? Overall, people like that. You like that? You already beat the Frenchman, whatever amount of minutes. Exactly. So, but when, what do we do, right? We say these things and then they don't come true, right? So like now we know Volkov should get the next title shot, but that's not like Gagne shouldn't even be in there. Gon should be gone, and it should have been Pereira versus Volkov, and it should have been Gon versus WCA yesterday. That's the match that we should have had, and not what we got. Because now Volkov has a legitimate gripe. If he, after Pereira knocks out Gon, that he has a job, if Volkov does not get that next title shot. And that's even if Tom Aspinall comes out of nowhere, wherever the hell he's at. But that's just, that for me, right there is that. But Connor, come through on Thursday. Dan would love to answer these questions as well, too. It'll give you more of another side, too. Sometimes Dan's a little more down to earth when it comes to the UFC. He is more of the background of the backbone of that category, whereas I'm all the numbers, the DFS, and watching it and analyzing it, and current point fighting champion myself. So I'm trying to add all this, but I think that somehow they're just going to serve them up. But for me, like we were looking at it, if they did Pyfer Strickland, I get it, but I don't want to see that either. Give me a bigger name, whatever. We just got to get somebody up in here, and not RDR. We got to get somebody in here that just needs to like this, because this division's starting to dry up. Now that Khamzat's going to be moving up, we're only be looking at these people. So I guess it's good that Sean has the title right now. So because they know that he's going to run his mouth. He's a fighting champion. That makes a lot of people happy. So that for me right there alone kind of gives it that whole thing. So I think overall, though, we did really well this week. After, like I said, getting waxed 2 weeks ago, getting some DFS has been on par every single week, even when we got waxed in bets. And I had my worst parlay of pain week ever, right? We got that back because we fight. That's what we do. We're dogs up in here. Gave his. You know what? If you want to sell tickets, do it. But the fact that Pyfer knocked him out, you got to give it to Pyfer. That's what I'm trying to avoid. I'm trying to avoid DDP and Pyfer. Although I wouldn't mind DDP and Pyfer, although I know DDP's got his shit going. But, you know, I do agree with that. Give Izzy his rematch. Why not? Let's make money off of Izzy getting knocked out again. GSP coming out of retirement, then retire. You know, he literally could do it. That's a whole different kind of level of takedown and craziness. I love it though. And I love that we're getting a lot of comments up in here too. So thank you. And remember to follow us. We do this every single week. I always do my review show during the football season. I will do this show I move the show till Tuesdays, because in that way I can get the Monday night football game, we got Wednesday night football games now. We got all these different games on different days. Now it's just wild. But I always do my review. I always talk about the NFL, kind of what worked, and I throw that DFS bets in and all that sections and stuff. Well, too, on that end. So again, you get all that just for behind the paywall, and then you get the information for free. And then even Danger and them, they do the golf podcast every single week. So you get that. And then, of course, you have Dr. Radio on Sirius XM every single week from 9 to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you can call in and ask the man himself what's going on. So, all right. Well, this one, just talking about that whole card and getting into it and then having all of the interactions that we've been having, I want to make sure that everybody knows that after May 31st, on May 31st, I will be recording an interview with Jessica, the Black Widow Borga. So you got to make sure you got to stay tuned for that one, because that releases. She's a fighter. Of course, she's the featherweight bare knuckle fighting champion currently right now, but it's also my team, TKO Erie. We sponsor her as well too. So if you look at her fight gear, you'll see the TKO Erie right on her right hip, I think it is. So, you know, it's just the thing. So we're going to talk about that, talk about her comeback story after her fight with the unfortunate injury in the Christine Fierro fight when it was champion versus champion. You know, she's on back. There's rumors that she's going to be fighting Aspen Ladd. Aspen Ladd's getting a lot of push right now. So this will be a really good fight for Borga. So I kind of want to make sure you get that out there. But man, let's start to it. Let's get to it. Let's talk a little bit about my NFL Dynasty Draft coming up. So at the end of this month, starting next month, a lot of people are having a lot of fantasy drafts, both Dynasty and Best Ball, and of course seasonal. They're crazy. I got Alex, Connor. I got Alex. I know Gon is that guy that's gonna do what he wants to do, use his MT, kick it up. But Alex is doing this for a reason. So I'm not gonna, I can't say it's that easy, but we will cover that fight, of course, on the Fight Club of Pain. And then you'll get Dan's view of that as well, too. But for me, I'm going out. I'm throwing the money down. Alex, knockout and points. That's easy. That's easy for me. So, and we're actually going to be doing that. I'll talk about that after this NFL section right here. So last year I was offered by Kickman, who's on the staff, who's one of the hockey writers here. He offered me his first round pick this year for Jared Goff. I go, you know what, boy? I contemplated it. I thought he was crazy. And he was. So I said, you know what? I'll make the trade. Because I got Bo Nix last year, and I've been trading away a lot of my quarterbacks in this league. This is the one Dr. Roto runs for us, the Visionary Fantasy League. And we've been doing this for about 6 or 7 years. And so my team, again, injuries just completely imploded. This was, of course, a move for me to get another first round pick. Well, unfortunately, Goff didn't have the best of weeks, and Kickman did really terrible after the trade. His pick is now the 5th overall pick. So I possess the 2nd and 5th overall pick, not the 1st. So of course I'm already know that Love is going to go first. So I've been looking, and there goes something for anybody that's watching this live right now. Who would you pick? For me at 2, only having Bo Nix as a potential starter quarterback in a dynasty league doesn't leave a good taste in my mouth. So I kind of know I have to go Mendoza. But here's the thing. I want Tate. And I have a chance at getting Tate and Tyson if I don't go with Mendoza. And I'm not one of those people that are going to jump on Jadarian Price. So for me, even Mikael Lemon steps into the thing. But I don't want Lemon. I know that it's not going to work out. There could be a trade happen. Somebody trades up to the 3rd or the 4th overall pick in this league. And for me, that's going to put a foil in my plan. But honestly, I think a smart man would say, take Tate with the 2nd overall pick and take a chance that Tyson and Price go, or Tyson and Lemon go, and then get Mendoza at 5. Because here's the thing. I should be picking Mendoza at 2. And I'm probably going to pick Mendoza at 2 so that I have the future of the Las Vegas Raiders, and then I have the future of the Denver Broncos, Bo Nix. And then maybe try for another quarterback later in this, like Aller. Aller's definitely on my side. So anybody in this league, all other 15 captains, including Doc himself, if you're watching this, you probably already know my strategy if you're watching this by now. But here it is, and I'm going to do it and execute it perfectly, even though you guys already know the cards that are up my sleeves. Yeah. Woo. All right. Do it. So I take Mendoza. So then I feel Tate and Tyson go, which then leaves me Price, who I don't want any piece of because of his injuries and the injuries in the past, but also the running back is a volatile position. He's only going to get so much time, like everybody else is saying. He's only going to get so much time before Charbonnet comes back, and then he's just going to be shoved to the side. Well, I don't think that's going to happen. But for me, if I make this pick Price, then what I'm getting is somebody that might only have a good 2 or 3 years, and then he physically breaks down, and he doesn't become the guy I thought he would become, and thus makes a worse pick. But a lot of people don't like it. So then I would be looking at Lemon. So for me, it's almost like I should roll the dice and just do the best I can and just take Tate at 2. And then if for some reason Mendoza makes it back to me at 5, take Mendoza then. I still haven't locked into this idea yet. I still haven't, so again, after this podcast is done, if you guys want to weigh in, talk about it, give your thoughts, definitely follow, comment, share, then do it. We'll talk about that. And get over to the Subs Only Discord and use code WIN to get in there. Let's talk about it in real time while we win you money. That's what we do. All right. So before I get up out of here, I do want to make our mention. This week, the Fight Club of Pain will be back live on Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be covering the MVP event on Netflix because it's got 3 banging fights. We revealed those fights that we were going to cover on the Fight Club of Pain on Thursday last week. Also, we will cover UFC Vegas. So I'm still going to do my entire write-up, but we're only going to cover one fight because we're going to be covering the Rousey fight, we're going to be covering the Nagano fight, and we're going to be covering the Diaz fight. So normally on these offshoot weeks, when it's not a numbered event for the UFC, we only do 3 fights. We're going to give you the 3 MVP fights, and we're going to give you that. I already have the bets in place for that event. So, and those bets are already in the Dr. Roto Subs Only Discord. I say it 1,000 times. If you play a drinking game, you might get a buzz by the end of this thing, but I will tell you what, your bankroll will get a buzz if you listen and you come aboard. I promise you, both DFS-wise, betting-wise, and seasonal fantasy-wise, you will be our rich friend. Yeah. All right, so make sure you get all that get over there. And again, I want to say thank you to all the people behind the scenes that nobody sees, Danger, everybody else, the producers, a.k.a. myself, He'd Override, bringing the pain. And of course, Dr. Roto for being a doctor on the Dr. Roto network. It's always an honor for you. But let's get to it, people. And if there's one thing I want to say, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, the good mothers that out there that busting themselves every day. A lot of us wouldn't be here. A lot of us wouldn't have been saved if it wasn't for our mothers. If you have a mom or get in there, call her today, tell her you love her, and always remember to bring the love. Ooh, yeah. Woo.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. Until the next visit, be well and take care.